to an on location, a special Hawaii edition here with the big man, Mr. Bart Yakmak himself. And Bart, we do the show a lot, and with everything going around, you guys are one of the top topics of the off season for obvious reasons. And we've been trying to get Diego from the Latin Saints on, but he keeps dodging us. And I decided, you know what? If you want to get the info, you just got to go straight to the source. So I flew out all the way out to Hawaii.
Yeah, here he comes.
No, but I was just out here for the big game out at Maui Paintball. Okay, there's Clint Hansen has a really
good operation.
Cool spot. It's literally right across the street from the beach. Now, obviously, because it's it's February. You've been out here since December.
Yes, middle of December.
And why do you come out here during December?
It gets a little cold back home, and we've actually had probably the longest run of minus 40s this year, like a week, 10 days, which is incredible of cold, minus 40. So it's good to be here in Maui, and I'm getting used to it.
Yeah. I think actually on one of our shows when it was minus something out in Edmonton. Edmonton was actually on the news in the U.S. For being the coldest place in all of the world or something. Yeah. So that's another reason why this event was very successful. It was the biggest event Hawaii's ever thrown. 200 people registered. It was the Hawaiian Legends out at Maui Paintball. Literally across the street, no joke, from the ocean is a pretty cool, fun paintball field. They're home to a handful of teams, the Misfits, Maui Mixed Plate, which is actually one of my favorite team names of all time. I think it's just a cool, clever Maui Mixed Plate. So it's 4 different local teams.
Oh wow!
And they just kind of all got together, and there it is, the Maui Mixed Plate.
Well, actually, we christened his field with the Impact players. He came out as a team, and when he first opened the field up, I think it was back in 2010 or 11. We brought the team out, Ryan Moorhead, and the guys came out, and it was a great event, and we were there, blowing the horn and all that stuff. It was pretty cool.
Well, not only that, but didn't you guys play paintball for the very first time in Hawaii?
Happened right here in Hawaii in April 2000.
In 2000?
Boys, yeah, I was totally against guns. The boys said, Dad, Josh is playing paintball in Florida. We got to go play paintball. We got to buy paintball guns. We got to do it all. And I'm like, no. We went to the store. The guy invited us to go play on Sunday, and went and played Sunday, and we played every weekend after that.
Well, actually, this guy right here, Mr. Maui Rockstars, he played with you.
Oh, was that right?
Back then, he goes, I was actually there. I surfed with him. I surfed with him this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I surfed with Jesse this morning, and he's like, I was actually at the field.
That's crazy.
When Bart and them came for the very first time.
That is wild.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That's pretty
cool. We got
awesome.
people everywhere.
Good to see you.
You mentioned that
again.
So. Yeah. Everything is history. Everything was history from there.
Wild.
So he said a big thank you to you, actually, also.
Well, it was a special day because we were hooked. Even Joanne got hooked on it, and it's 22 years now. The boys and I and family have been playing, and it's been quite a ride, it's been amazing. I can't say enough about the game and the people, and,
Yeah, and with that said, everybody in Hawaii is incredibly hospitable, and there was a huge showing of support, not only at the field, and I believe actually the red team was mostly locals, and they were trouncing us in that day. So big shout out to everybody here on Maui and all of Hawaii, because there's Kauai players, there was Big Island players, there was Oahu guys. And I believe there were players from Molokai as well. So we had pretty much every island represented out here. Not to mention players from Chicago, Pennsylvania, Florida, all over the East Coast, California. We had a bunch of the CK guys. So we had guys out here. And obviously a lot of people were ditching out because of the weather back at home. So really cool. Also wanted to show everybody, I've got the merch is shipping right now. For those of you who placed an order for any of the Spick and Span merch, that's all on the way. James from Island Designs is shipping it out today and yesterday. So this week you guys should be getting some stuff in the mail. But yeah, let's just jump straight into there's a lot of news. You guys are the headlines. You are the headlines for a lot.
I don't know how we do that every now and then.
Every now and then, because you either grab somebody. By the way, great pickups. I think I mentioned it to you. I love the Axel Gaudian pickup. I told you that. I told you the story about that, and I actually mentioned it on the show as well. So congrats to Axel and getting another European out.
Yeah, Axel. As you know, we all play against him, and he's a threat everywhere, any chance. And his heart is huge. I mean, he just dies to win. I can remember when we beat him the one time in the final. He was just tears and it was tough. So I know how bad he wants to win, and I think with him coming on our team, it fills up a big spot for us, losing Alex. And, we've got some other great players that we've picked up that are gonna be fantastic, I think. I'm not so worried about us anymore right now.
No, I'm not either. Oh, let me. That came out wrong. I'm not worried for you guys. I'm not worried about you guys, but all the same. No, I'm saying that the pickup. I mean, Derula and Zupa were a huge pickup to kind of plug in for. I think that Derula is going to fill really well in for the J-Rab position.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zupa's pretty versatile as well, but getting guys in for both those spots. Plus, I mentioned it to you. I go, you guys still got JC, right? And you said, yeah. But you're fine.
JC, you got the Zach and
and Zach.
Zane's actually kind of retired in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the boat business now, so he's loving the boat world. He gets to wear shorts to work every day, so he's happy.
Even in the winter, huh?
Yeah, but he's going to be at the first event. He's coming with us.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to help coach, so that's exciting for me and for everybody on the team. So it's going to be an interesting year, I think, for us and for everybody in the league. It's going to be a great year in the sense of everything that's happened.
And then let's talk about a little bit, because obviously you have some plans that you're not quite ready to announce, but just kind of exposure, because you've got, not only do you have the team, you've got the league that you help to manage to run, to figure out what's the best course of action there. Just kind of like exposure. We had Tom on the show to help to boost up the morale of the NXL after the Philly event. And just to kind of talk to things, but from your standpoint, what goes on with the league from your standpoint?
The league, I think, if we go back, we're 7 years now, and it's been quite an experience in the sense of, I think we did a lot of things right, and we've made a lot of mistakes too. Everybody does that and goes through that, but I think we've got the league at a stage where we're doing its presentation, the way we present ourselves when the events are run. But I think, honestly, there's another level yet that I think we can get it to, and I think that's exposure to the masses. And that's where my head's at right now with the league and Tom and Randy and Dave as owners. How do we go about exposing? I think we need exposure to the player, creating superstars, characters, and that's maybe working with Go Sports on it and trying to do more. Not sure how that's going to look, but we need to get more to the masses what's going on. You watch tag on TV. I'm watching these sports that are oddball sports that are out there, and yet we have a sport that's the safest, the funnest, the most inclusive, family, everything, and we got to get this thing out there. So that's my big goal, and I think if we get that done and we can start exposing it, I think we got an opportunity to where it helps the pro teams at that level, funding, everything. I mean, it just needs to get out there. So we're racking our brains right now. I'm racking my brain to how to get it out there. Well, that's my goal.
Yeah, and obviously with social media and how everything's going, like we were talking about this, and you're like, this is a great idea. Everybody seems to be doing something out here, and we've got a ton of people doing all their types of media exposure. You got Rami Dizon doing the Dizon docs. You've got Marcelo and Tyler doing Play the Game podcast. You got Iconic. You've got tons of people doing stuff to get the media out there, but what we do need to do is we need to have a good production, and I think that Go Sports is doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Their 4 Sundays, I keep trying to say it 5 Sundays, but their 4 Sundays shows are really well done. Like those are well produced. We've got the Iron Kids documentary that we're working on right now. That's going to start shooting in a month or so. But
I think the magic maybe might be a little bit of post production in the sense of, because it's hard when you're dealing with live production. It is what it is. It's live. It's great. But I think we can create a show or create the items that are more about post-production, where we can go back, put the pieces together, create a show that says, okay, now we've got the, where they can see the paint in the air, they can see
and you can kind of explain
shots,
what's going on.
We can explain it more. We can just do so much more with post-production. So that's I guess that's the lean where I'm going with it, Ryan, and I think it makes sense, and it's going to be expensive. It's going to be costly because you got time, you got people putting these things together. So we're working right now with that, and we'll see where it takes us.
And yeah, that's actually because someone did mention ESPN. Any chance to be on ESPN, and that was a post-production show.
Right.
But you were there for the MPPL one.
Yeah.
It's a paid off thing. You got to buy the airtime with them, or we had to at that point. Now I believe that ESPN, because all these companies are looking for content.
Yes.
Like they need content right now. So this is like a big war out there for
Yeah.
who has the content, which is
Yeah.
why pillow fighting is on the TV. And so that one where you're hitting the balloon in the air, and you're like, come on. Paintball is very difficult to broadcast. It's really tough, especially live, because there's way too many variables, and if something's kind of boring, you know.
Well, I think the person that doesn't see it, that's not used to it, doesn't understand it at all.
Yeah.
So.
And that is the truth, but I do think that those, because I mean I remember I was in a bar in Australia and they were playing paintball on TV, and it was the Fox Sports Net stuff. So you know I was in Australia and I was on TV. You know, it was like a cool experience, and those shows were entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, because you create these different types of
You know, we can create a little drama with rings sometimes.
Yeah.
And get that highlighted and shown and the pits and everything. I mean, with post-production, you can build it.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about the post-production side.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a good, and honestly, I don't know, a lot of you guys who are watching this probably have Go Sports subscriptions, so you guys get to watch it, or at least you sign up for the event and then maybe cancel the subscription, but my thing is, and we've talked about this in length, and I've talked to Maddie about it, and I've talked to everybody who's kind of involved, is like, you've got two options, right? You have the paid option, which is where they're at right now, which limits the amount of viewers, but you get to create more content, and then you've got the cash to be able to afford it. Or you do the non-paid option, but then you have to hope that you have to rely on industry support, which makes it so much more difficult.
Yeah,
So
I think those two examples are tough because the free one is not easy. You're not going to get every paintball manufacturer, other manufacturers paying to support you,
Right.
which is what you need. That's all what it's all really about is commercials. And then you got the paid subscription, which to me we're limited because we're only, you're doing 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people on an event. So, so there's and honestly, I think when we talk to a lot of people, and it's probably the way to go about it is post production and try and get it out there in a live format that a syndicate would want it, or a placement like where we see tag and everything else. Throwing whatever. Now we're doing that. We need that type of exposure. We need to get it out there. Someone's gonna see it, like it, love it, and create the drama and the superstars that we have. We've got great players on every team. It's amazing what we have.
And there's big personalities. Also.
Absolutely.
It's not just superstars in the playing ability. There are great personalities out there, and we talked about that.
Well,
too.
think about Mouse. What have you was like before he met me?
Yeah.
He was nothing. Trained him up.
Yeah, he was nowhere. Yeah, he was just a little guy, and then you made him into.
He's a big mouse.
Hey, he's he's like the Mighty Mouse. But see, hey, you know what? I'm actually like this. That just reminded me. That's like. Dynasty's always been in the business of molding the guys, getting guys really good, and then selling them off to Bart. Except we don't get any of the proceeds. And now finally you've built the guy up. He finally gets the MVP. He plays the ego, and then he goes off to greener pastures, as they say.
I love Mouse. I think he's congratulations to him, and he's earned it. So it's good for him.
But and I was actually kind of not joking, but I was mentioning it to Kyle. The great thing is. Now you guys, another big announcement is your HK deal. You just left GI, who you've been with from the very beginning.
That was a tough one for us. It was, that's a tough one. I've been there with Richmond. Actually goes back to when X-Ball was invented, and I've known Richmond for a long time. And I think that's our, a big part of my history. Louis, who's been with Richmond forever, sponsored us, was one of our first sponsors. So it was a tough move, but when you kind of took our spot when you moved over to GI, so I thought, well, we make some room, we'll go see what HK's got to say.
Yeah, you go, hey, I heard Dynasty was getting a good deal from HK, and now they're for sure not paying the Latin Saints, so I get it.
It
nice
balances,
move. And HK was probably like, okay, we got to go on the offensive too.
Yeah.
Because I know that HK was trying to get X Factor, but the X Factor was under contract. But good for them because they needed another powerhouse team. And I'm glad that you guys took it.
It just again it was a tough move in a sense, and it's just there was a lot of discussion on how to make it happen, and it ended up it came to the forefront, and it happened. So
and from an exposure standpoint, Alex said hopefully that'll make Impact cool finally. That was Alex's comments.
We're a little serious at times, but I'm sure we'll get loosened up once we get into that HK 10.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's funny. Yeah, there you go. It'll make you guys cool, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was with us, right?
It was great.
We were in there,
I mean,
and we helped them, and they helped because they were like the younger guys that were like kind of like us, but they were, you know.
You grew up with them.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
and they grew up with us as
yeah,
well, you know, and that was a big thing, and we helped launch a lot of their products.
Yeah.
And now that every single item on their entire SKU list is completely dialed in, now you guys get to get the good stuff.
Yeah.
We dealt with the loaders for 10 years, and then
Yeah.
right when they perfected it, we said, okay, guys, that was our last miracle with you. So now everybody else gets to use it. So let's talk about, let's see, your day-to-day out here. This is pretty nice. Like, you guys don't see the view for us right now, because it's raining outside, is a little different than it was earlier today.
I got my park on here a minute ago.
I've got a blanket
on. And
this isn't just
it was cold. We were on the beach here about an hour ago.
Yeah, we were.
Back in the rain, it's cold.
Yeah, so dip in the ocean on a daily basis. 18 holes of golf.
18 holes of golf. We get friends and relatives that visit us all the time, so that keeps us busy. If they want to go on the road to Hana, I let them go. I don't go on the road to Hana. But the island's got so many things to do, and we have a lot of fun with relatives and friends. So, but keeping busy, again, the time difference is 3 hours back home. I get calls at 6 in the morning. I'm still, active in the business, with the boat side and the car side, paintball side. So there's always lots to do. With COVID, it kind of brought you the reality that you can work out of your home, and it's been good. I mean, Hawaii's, Joanne and I came here in 2010, found a home, and we've been here ever since, and it's been great. I mean, we just love it. So
no, this is definitely a nice little escape, little vacation, especially if it's -40 or -50, wherever you're in. And so the golf, you just rolled the cart today. I don't know if that was embarrassing.
Well, that was a little embarrassing. I didn't think I'd ever roll a golf cart, but I actually ended up, it was a little bit slippery out there this morning. I went down the hill and hit the pavement and slid sideways in the cart. And the next thing you know, I'm standing up on the sidewalk in the middle of my cart.
Is that the first time you've rolled a cart?
First time I've rolled a golf cart.
Which is funny, because I don't play golf, but I've rolled plenty of golf carts, as you can imagine. And
there you go, right? I like that.
So, which is also why golf carts are not allowed at NXL events.
Well, I remember.
Yeah, that was I was a part of the reason why.
I remember. And then we have examples that we know of, but
we lose. It happens.
Yeah, that's right. They're dangerous.
You give paintball players golf carts, and whether you're on the course or not, and they're getting rolled.
I'm actually I took one.
So wow, welcome to the club.
Welcome
to the club.
But it's I got a few marks on it. I survived the golf cart.
Let's see. What's what's the best part of living out here from Phil Navarro? It's just kind of the weather.
Just the weather, I come here in a pair of pants, I go home in a pair of pants.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm wearing shorts, so it's been really good. The beaches are great. The people are really good too. I mean, it's funny. There's a pace here that's different than any other. And a lot of when you're here for 3-4 months, as I am, there's a pace here that's really quite different, and so you get used to it, and it's. But we love it. It's really, to me, it's the weather and the people. And, it's really cool.
Very, very cool. Definitely, just even for us being here for the week, appreciate the hospitality, obviously, for having us out and everything.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, Sloane's been loving it.
Oh yeah,
she never stops running around.
No, she'll crash on the way home, and then she'll be out she slept. Like I said, we did the road, the opposite of the road to Hana, the north side. She slept for an hour. She slept all the way till we got home, and we stopped at the grocery store. She slept like 2.5 hours in the back of the car, because she just rips. She goes full rip out there. Who do you see stepping up for Impact? We talked a little bit about Nick Laval kind of being able to find a home on the field.
You know what? I go back to Nick a lot right now, because I think Nick was a powerhouse up the middle. Yeah. And I think we actually took Nick out of that position a little bit, because we moved him on the right side of the snake side. And it was tough, because we had, again, a strong team with a lot of players, and we could afford to move. But I think Nick is going to be our guy up the middle, that we need to just keep repetitive, just keep him going, keep calling the horse, and let him go. And let them go. And I think with the new players, the experience that we've got, we're going to be fairly balanced, which I like, and we're going to stay aggressive. I think at first when I when we lost what we lost, I thought, okay, now I gotta really
Right.
look at changing our tactic. Bob Long once called us the most methodical paintball team in paintball. That goes back to 07, 08 when we first joined in the professional level.
Uh-huh.
And that's what we played, but it's changed over years, and we became aggressive. And I think with the guys that we've got, it's going to be an aggressive team again, and I like it. I mean, I was prepared to change, but right now with what I see, I think we can stay aggressive, and because I think the game today is aggressive. It's proven that way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. And we're going to be. We got 4 new guys coming in, so it's.
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be a
who's
little
your
bit
fourth player?
Alex Hill
Alex Hill
from AC.
ACDC.
Yeah, so again, another strong player. We'll see how that goes. Axel's great, so I think we're gonna be good. I'm excited.
Yeah, and it'll give guys that, because you're keeping a roster of 10.
Yeah.
Right, staying at 10. Now, we kind of joked about that today when you're like, oh, well, now you got 10 because you want to go back to 8, so I get to play
So
more.
you get to play
so I
more.
get to more playing time, and
Yeah.
that's kind of funny, but slightly true. You get to rely or lean on, not rely. You get to lean on your guys, but what's the benefit to keeping 10 guys? Because you
Well,
were
I
adamant
like
about it. You had 10
I like
last
10
year,
because it's a practice situation. You can play against each other. You can create the scenarios that you need. With 8 guys, you're always filling in. You don't have it's just or 9. 11, I don't like. It's not fair to the 11th, which we've
Right.
done that too. You've done that. I just like 10. It's just an even round number, 5 on 5, and then we can really do some good practices. And I know the guys don't like practicing against each other.
I don't think,
Right?
and no team should
Yeah.
like it, because obviously there's a little bit of animosity, but it's really good because there's always a winner and a loser,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Feelings get hurt.
Your feelings get hurt, but it's actually kind of nice. Whenever we practice against each other, it's like if I'm losing, I'm like frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn it! But at the same time, I'm like, oh, we're really good.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
or if I'm beating.
Well,
up our
you
guys,
actually learn how good you are.
Yeah, exactly.
You learn how good your guys
Like,
are.
damn, like this guy's hard to defend against, or hard to beat over here. So
Yeah. Yeah.
any other underrated? Who do you see as some of the more underrated players in the league?
Underrated?
Yeah.
Oh God,
I mean, I say Nick Laval on your team is. I think a lot of people. Brandon Cornell isn't really, but it's he is.
I think Brandon is got so much potential, and yet, I think we're messing him up a little bit too, where we're playing front and back. So, we got to be careful. JC's was a snake player now; he's a Dorito player. We've messed up a few standard type kind of players that were always known for what they're known, and I think us that's maybe Dave and I messing up a little bit. And I think that's where. We've got certain players coming in. I think we got to go back to basics, like anything else. I mean, whatever you want to call it, just let the players play the position that they're used to playing and excel. And so, if Brandon's a 1, we got to make Brandon a 1 and let him roll.
Let him roll right there. And so that's a good question. And that was actually one of the qualms that Tyler had with us, is like when he got frustrated at that Florida event, he thought that we were trying to replace him as the 1 with Grayson,
Right.
but in reality we wanted to play more points and kind of like get him more well-rounded and help move forward, because I was injured, and I think he took that he took it a little harshly and was kind of misunderstood the whole situation, but that was on us. Now, with that said, what's your interaction with the play calling and like all the management and everything? Like,
I missed a lot the last year and a half
Right.
because of COVID and in Canada and the way it was going and the fear factor, whatever you want to call it. I missed a lot of paintball, so I got to Florida the last event last year. I mean, my structure of coaching is basically make it as simple as possible for the players, so when they step on that field, they know what the play is. So our system's very simple, as much as simple as it can be. No different than anybody else. Play the game smart. I think, when I look back 3 years ago, I thought Impact really controlled the pace of the play. Like what I found about Dynasty is probably the most amazing thing about Dynasty is you guys, when you sniff a kill, it's the sniff the kill's killed. Now you know what to do, and you guys react like cats. It's amazing to watch you perform that way. And that's, so then again, we took it maybe a little bit different route where if we had a kill, we would slow the game down, take control of the pace of the game, and that's kind of where we went with it. And I think everybody's doing that now. That's why I think the league is so hard.
Yeah.
So competitive now, more so than ever, because everybody's learned from everybody, and the pace of play, the strategies all seem to be the same. and it's almost like a momentum situation now. Team gets away on you, and you can win, but it's not easy now.
Well, what I find interesting is, especially in the last couple of layouts in the events, is like you play the game, you're playing, and it's like you're on the edge of your seat, right? Even in the game, you're just fighting tooth and nail to like get the point. But any time that you're down or you're up, say you're up 2 points or whatever team is coming at you, they're winning. Like I would love to see the stats. I'd love Ghost Sports to come back and be like, this would be a cool thing if Ghost Sports implemented, is being able to try to figure out some sort of stat stuff, like 80% of the time that a team is down, with they're trying to score 30%, a 30-second point, they're scoring that point or something, because it feels like it. I mean, I'm on that side of it a bunch. And World Cup,
I don't get it
it's
sometimes.
like so contentious.
We're sitting on the sideline,
and you're watching, like, how did they just score that point?
They just shot the 3 guys.
Yeah, why would
They're running like rabbits out there, and we're losing.
It's like an happy goal.
The momentum's changed, and it's over.
Yeah, he hits the hole in one, and he's like, I'm just gonna do that every time.
Yeah.
It's like, how
I got one here about a month ago. So.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was that your first
on
one?
On the 7th hole, yeah, here.
On the 7th hole.
Yeah.
Wow. And how does that work? Do they?
It goes in the hole, right?
No, I did. Okay, so you hit the ball and it goes in the hole. No, so. Was anybody there? Was a witness there?
Yes.
And what did they do? Sign your scorecard and then you get like
signed. They give me a ball and they give me a bottle of tequila.
A full bottle of tequila.
Full bottle of tequila.
My God, I don't think my Tecolote Canyon place.
Yeah, or you go in and get really drunk with everybody else in the clubhouse. There's all these options that are available.
That's exciting. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
I watched a friend hit a hole in one, and it was like he shanked it so hard out of bounds, and it came rolling down the hill and just went right into the cup. It was like
still a hole in one.
It is, right?
Yeah.
It was like the 18th shot that Happy Gilmore had to do when the thing was over and click off the thing. So that was pretty funny. He was stoked on it, but that's a big one on that. What about well, let's talk about a little bit about you guys. So we were talking about the draws, right? You're like, oh, the Saints guys got a lot better than what they were looking like in the beginning.
Yeah.
When we were doing the draw, I was on the live chat with you guys, and I was texting Brandon Short like, haha, we got you, and then he's like,
we got you.
Yeah.
No, that's quite a bracket, actually.
It is because.
Yeah, it's an interesting bracket.
I think we have one of the more interesting brackets, because obviously the Saints went from probably one of the worst teams in our bracket to one of the best teams in the bracket. Revo, who's always a pain to play, like they're so difficult to play all the time, as you guys know.
Yeah, we've had our fun with Revo, and when you lose 4 players, it's you're out there, and opportunities are going to come, and that's what's going to happen.
You wanted to make sure that they didn't snub you in the
on the
semis of the quarters, so you grabbed 2 of their guys.
Which that's unfortunate. Yeah, it helps you a bit with Revo. Unfortunate for Revo. It's one of those things. So
you can say you're sorry right here if you want.
Hard one. It's a hard one.
So
I've lost players
for the reshuffling. Oh, I know.
Yeah. What you can do.
Yeah. And we lose players every season.
Yeah.
We're the team that well, except for this season.
And you and I touched on that earlier today about player movement, and I'm not so concerned about the budgets in a sense, but how do you manage that player movement situation that we're running into every year, and teams are getting, and I'm guilty. I think Dynasty was one of the beginning of how to take players. I mean, I learned everything from you guys. But anyways, that's
all our fault.
And I've been asked a lot of times with paintball and how do we manage that? It's not an easy thing with the way the league's structured, the way the teams are ownered. Some have the funds, some don't, and it's just all over the map. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, if we had someone that with the issue and someone that has the answer to how to fix it, we're always open to ideas of how to manage it. But it's we do structure it after the 3rd event. When we had 5, it was a freeze on movement. So,
freeze on movement.
So that was helpful.
But I don't see it as a problem, right? I mean, look, we've lost guys. We've lost plenty of guys to you, to Ironman, to everybody. Like, we lose guys and it sucks, and it's really difficult, that rebuilding process on the off season, especially with the uncertainty of what's going to happen, who's talking to who, and you guys are pretty fortunate. We with the exception of Tyler, everybody who's left our team has kind of like let us know, like, hey, this is, Kyle would always be like, hey, this is coming to me, or Dalton would say something, or, so that's, as long as the player is open about it, and it's a tough move for most players too, but right now, because the industry doesn't have enough money to support all the players relatively equally based on the performance or their position, then you can't fault somebody like you. Even you were like, hey man, like, guys, I'm not going to compete with this, and I think that you guys are should go get paid when you can.
Yeah.
And that's the right thing to do. You can't be salty to a player or hold a grudge against a guy that left for a deal that was substantially, could be life changing, there's a lot of factors that go into those decisions. But if it's a player leaving, I mentioned this, if it's a player leaving for an extra gun or like a little thing here and there, then it makes it a little bit more personal. But I don't feel it to be that bad of a thing for players to move. It sucks for the teams that lose them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a great opportunity generally for that other player.
Yeah, I kind of look at it as like the whatever NHL caps, the structures there, but we're so far away from being able to do something. I mean, I can look back at Josh Davies and Danny Miller days when they were with Bob Long, and Josh came to me and said, I want to come play with you, but I need some funds to cover my costs, funds to make it when I'm not working and all that. So, if I look back in time, I started paying players with Josh Davies and Danny Miller. And then, as it went on, they retired, and we went after, Dave Baines, and that's kind of the history with us, where it all started.
Did you take Dave from us?
No, I did not.
You did, didn't you?
No, but I know you were paying him pretty good when he was playing for you.
We pay our guys. Look,
that's okay.
Our goal is to end with a negative balance in our bank account. I don't know. Is that how you're supposed to go?
I'm way below the cap.
It's
I wonder what that Saints guy's account's like.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, his account must be pretty robust. I don't know. Hopefully he knows that it's not that as a paintball team owner, it's not a great return ROI. It's not a very great return.
Way in the negative. But it's a big hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Love of the game, all that. There's a lot of great people in this game that are, we make it exciting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you think about it,
we do.
You got some great owners, and even Jeremy selling to the Saints. I think, they brought a value to the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's value. That's impressive.
No, it is, and they're guys and players and teams out there kind of like now seeing, okay, this is a great opportunity. There is something here, and what else it does is, and we kind of mentioned it on a show here and there, is like it doesn't necessarily bring more legitimacy when players are getting paid big salaries, but it does fulfill a dream, and it also makes it so that kid that's grinding in the divisional league, or he's grinding on one of the bottom 10 pro teams every weekend, he's like, okay, you know what, I am going to go out there, I am going to work a little bit harder, because there's an opportunity for me when there's vacancies like that around the league. If I get noticed, if I'm out there doing my work, maybe I get a chance to shine on Impact or Dynasty or X Factor or one of the top teams that start to pay a little bit more, and then maybe there's a guy that's going to come up.
I look at a guy like Corey Hall. I remember watching him in Europe, and up and coming, and here he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing his thing. It's great.
What do you think about having? What do you think about having pro-only events? So you saw like a couple of standalone events. I think it's not
tough because it's just the league is not, everybody thinks it's easy to run, easy to, costs or one league, all this. I'm telling you, the problem with the NXL, and everybody thinks it's a home run, but it's not. I'll be honest, it's the format that's killing us. And if I go back in time to when you had a race 2 format, and you think we got 11, 12 refs on the field, 8, 10 refs on the amateur fields. We got score clock keepers, the setups, all that, the expense to get to the events. It's just not. It's not. I remember when I was part of the MPPL, and we didn't do very well there, but we had a great game, I thought, with the MPPL and the 7-man, and we were making some inroads, but in the end, we got down to 1 league, and that's what it is. And then we came in over top of the PSP and started running the NXL. I'm proud of what we've done with the NXL in a lot of ways, in so many ways, but it's not easy to run, I'll be honest. It's very expensive, the events run and costs, and it is what it is. It's the format.
And so by format, you mean you think the race
and
the
time.
The time.
Yeah.
It takes too long to get two teams.
If you think back to 7-man, for example, and this is a good discussion because, and I know X-Ball is really the game that we all love, but there's a lot of us that love the 7-man, or 10-man for that matter. And 7-man, if you think about it, we could run 50 teams on one field. But we can only run 25.
Well, yeah, and
So-
Tom had mentioned that a bunch of times, because when we started doing the Winter Classic, he goes, it can pay you guys way more money because it's a lot cheaper to run a 7-man tournament than it is to run an or a 5-man tournament than it is to run 2 teams for 30 minutes or 45 minutes or however long
I
it
mean,
goes.
we're running 2 teams, takes an hour.
Yeah,
Right?
there you go.
And you go 7-man, you
I
run.
didn't even
you
know
run
how long it takes when I'm on the
No,
field.
well, no, it's 45 minutes to an hour. So your time span is you can only put so many teams on the field. 20 pro teams on the one field, and you got
Right.
25 on another. If you can multiply, if we went to an event, NPPL, you could run 200 teams and run with 4 fields.
Right. So the footprint's smaller. So the footprint's
Exactly.
smaller. The
And the
expenditure
revenue is smaller. You
Right.
don't have
Your overhead's smaller.
your clock. You're pushing the clock. You count up the players. You're not. There's so much to the game now that I think it's an expensive format too. When you think about it, X ball's expensive for the team and the players. 7-man, it's just different game, and I get all that, and it's not that we're trying to push 7-man or go back to it. We're doing the game that we love, and it's just from a league perspective, it's a format that's very a lot less. It's not efficient. Let's put it that way.
Right. Now, but there is something to, as far as like from a player standpoint, and having done pretty much every format, that there is something that is behind. Like, I like the idea of if I mess up, if I have a bad point, I'm back on within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? I'm back on there and I get redemption. As opposed to a 7-man game, it's like, oh.
Yeah, one game, but we did change that in the end.
Yeah, in the
Remember,
finals.
we
In the finals,
well,
did
we
2
went
out of
to a
3,
best of
3 out of
three,
5, or 5 out
right?
of 7. Yeah,
You know, it was
we even
the
did
three
5 out of 7 I think one time against Naughty Dogs, and then we're like, let's go back to 3
But if you
out of
went
5.
to a best 3 out of 5 or a best 2 out of 3 or a best 2 out of, those, then it gives you a chance to recover a bit. But I understand that. That's why I think X ball is the superior game in that sense, that there's that chance to get the momentum going and all those things that go with it. So I'm not here pushing 7-man back. We're talked about the fact that how's the league doing. It's not an easy thing.
It's not. Well, it's not for a lot of reasons, and we were talking about it. And I don't know what the venue costs are ridiculous, because what happens is it's hard to appease all of the masses, right? Some people, if you brought it back to a paintball field and that's where you held the venues, good luck. See you later. People are gonna be pissed.
Well, that's what happened with the PSP.
The PSP, right?
And then
cut some costs because people were complaining.
and that wasn't the show. We call it the show, and that's where even Vegas right now. We love Vegas. I know everybody loves Vegas, but right now with COVID and everything else, we've we've cut our costs. We've contained our travel costs back and forth. Vegas is
You have to
not
ship.
cheap.
You basically
We got to take everything from Florida to Vegas, and then we got to ship it all the way back again.
and by everything, I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on this, because Tom painted a great picture. You guys set up and take down the largest paintball field in the world, I think, or one of the largest paintball fields events in the entire world. You do that 4 times a year. Now this year you're gonna do it 5 times or 6 times.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the other 2 are stationary. So you're gonna do it 4 times. So 4 times a year. If you think about the local field that you play out and the infrastructure that is behind that, think of transporting all that stuff across the country and back, and those are costs that people don't look at when they're going. Well, you guys had 200 teams and it's $2,000 in entrance fees, so you guys made $800,000 this weekend. Well, where's all my? I only get 12 grand for first place. Like, where's the rest of my money? So you just kind of don't really look at the rest of the metrics or the expenses.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we all love the game, it's the dynamics of you got an air system. We used to rent the air system. We bought our own system from Dave Youngblood and that. So we're looking at everything where we can cut costs and save money and be efficient. And it's been a learning experience over the last 7 years. But I think we've created the best show that we can for paintball right now.
Yeah.
But again, I think there's that other side of exposure to the masses.
Which
That's
is
where
something
I want to get to.
Yeah.
Because then if we can create a syndicate system that someone wants to see this on TV, we've got a
They're
chance.
waiting for the next
Exactly.
episode or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Now, and are you guys open to doing things with like just any kind of streaming platform, like Amazon Video or Netflix?
Well, we would look at anything
show?
and everything, and that's really what we're trying to create is the ideas right now flowing of what can we create that would attract those Amazons, Netflix, or whatever it may be.
Whatever it is
or,
that does.
Apple TVs, that all of a sudden paintball became mainstream.
Right.
And there's a sport that everybody loves watching it and understanding it.
Yeah. someone was talking about the the not having a West Coast event is a big bummer.
Yeah, it is.
Because there are.
We're going to be back there.
Yeah.
We won't be there this year, but next year we plan to go back.
Okay.
So that's the theory right now is we'll be back in Vegas for next year's opening event.
One question that came in, and this actually I was trying to think about it the whole time, is from a consumption standpoint, from like paint wise, do you remember how much paint we shot at 7-man events versus X-Ball? I want to say it was pretty close to the same, if not. I mean, I remember back in the day, Dynasty would shoot like back when your boys were playing with us.
Yeah.
We would shoot like 120 to 140 cases of paint in a weekend. And then
but remember, you would play. How many games would we play? We'd play.
So we played eight prelims.
Yeah, 8 rounds. 18 teams.
And then a 3 round.
Prelims, and then 3 rounds.
And then the 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. So you play a lot of matches, and I do. And you're carrying 7 guys on the field all at once. So there's extra 2 bodies. So I want to say it's right around the same amount.
I don't think there's much difference.
No, I really don't.
Yeah.
Because we go through. What's your guys' paint budget for a weekend? I just placed mine at 85 cases.
Yeah, I was going to say a skid of paint, which is 85 to 100.
Yeah, about 100. Yeah. So we're doing 85 cases, and that's actually up slightly because we're adding Friday practices, so we 15 cases then and 35 a day.
I'd like to see us go semi, go back to semi. I love the semi. We all sit at home, Ryan. We both sit at home and trigger. I loved it. Yeah, I know we all did. I love that game.
Did we all sit back?
I thought it was good.
I like it. I like the uncapped semi-auto because that's what whenever I play the big games, I put my gun in uncapped semi, and it's just like it's great. You just kind of rattle off a quick hot 15 balls. So one other question that came in. So say the Saints fold. We won't get into the Saints and what's going on with Diego and everything, but say they fold after the year. Maybe he loses the first event. He's like, I'm over this, because or whatever happens. Would you pick your guys back up? We'll think about that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's I saw the one note there with Keith Brown coming back.
I thought for sure you guys would get him.
Yeah, but then I heard you guys were after him too. So
and you can't compete with that.
But Keith is loyal to everybody that he's played for. Keith has been a superstar, and he's done well. So that's a tough one because of who we got. It's I don't know.
I mean, you got.
You know what? It's gonna. That I would answer that better at the end of the year.
Right, to see how you guys did versus.
Right. Because if we're struggling and we're really not, if we're not competing, then. You got to be able to compete at that high level, which is the top 4 teams, call it 5, 6 teams. If all of a sudden we become a 9 and 10 team, Dave and I are going to look at each other. Well, what do we got to do? We got to retool.
You got to retool. No, that was a good question that came in, and because we're always like we've got a pretty solid open door policy on Dynasty.
Well, we gave you back Dalton.
Yeah, thank you. That was really nice of you. And then
I was a little upset at Dalton though.
And then Damage took
because Dalton left, and then when he was coming back to play, I said, Dalton, I thought I treated you pretty good.
Oh yeah, because he left. He's like, I'm retiring, and then he's like, hey, I'll play again.
Put me to sleep.
I think he felt badly for us because he did that interview, and he's like, Dynasty's the DIE, and then the next season he's like, oh, I'm on Impact, guys. Yeah. So maybe we gave him enough guff about it. But he almost went to the Saints also.
Yeah, well, you were losing a ton, and Heat was losing a ton.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think if he could have filled the roster with 10 people, he would have. But I don't know if that's happened, right? I don't know what he's at.
Well, he's got Mouse, Kyle, J-Rab, A-Rod, Hall. So that's a 5-man right there.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And because I know that Tom was originally like, hey, Diego, great, I'm glad you're in this. Can you keep it all Latin teams? And I was like, that's kind of messed up. Yeah, please do that because we're playing the first one.
No disrespect. It's a different level of game.
It is. And I do appreciate the Wild Dogs coming out at that event at World Cup 2020. Because they came in and they scrapped with people and they put it on the map. And I go down to Panama a lot and play with those guys and I've seen them play and there's some really talented players out there. But putting 5 guys in there is going to help boost the player ability. And I did hear that Diego, I haven't gotten any confirmation from him because he won't come on the damn show, but I did hear he's gonna try to get like a second team. He's gonna get like a semi-pro team. Or he's gonna create a semi-pro team.
Yeah.
So basically a farm team,
Right.
which is obviously not a bad idea, especially when you play on a team whose average age is in the mid to late 30s, like Dynasty, and you've got guys getting injured at least at once an event. It's not bad to have a depth to bring guys up. Yeah. So so that's an interesting standpoint and look, and it'll hopefully boost up that player base because that's kind of what we need. Yeah. Someone just said that Sidney Crosby just had his 500th goal. Maybe right now. That's a big thing, right?
That's big.
That's
500
big.
goals.
500 goals.
Yeah, hockey. I mean, I only scored 1 goal, 1 game. I said that's enough. I'm out of here. So
You
yeah,
used to play hockey, right?
Yeah, I played
Yeah.
one NHL game.
Oh, one NHL game. Really?
Yeah.
And you scored a goal.
First game I played, it was the only game I played.
No way. Why
One
didn't
goal,
you,
one
did,
game.
Did, why didn't they put you
But
back
I
in?
1 for 1.
Did you get hurt?
Nope, just I was in the training camp in Chicago, and
Uh-huh.
it just they put me in for a game. I played well enough to make a game, and that game that I played, I scored a goal.
And that's not good enough to keep on the team?
I thought it was. But then
Yeah.
they sent me down, and
That's pretty cool. That's a really cool stat right
I got
there.
lots of- I got
didn't
more
know that.
stories, yeah.
You got more cool stories?
yeah, I played against the Hanson brothers. You know Slapshot, the movie?
Not
Don't
totally,
you remember the
but-
Slapshot movie?
I've heard
That's
of it,
back in my age.
Yeah.
Hockey
I'm from
yeah.
California, so hockey movies, I mean, aside from the Mighty Ducks, don't really resonate with me as much.
No, but it's an old movie.
There's another pretty crazy stat that I think pretty much everybody at the country club might know. We had a swim race.
Oh,
This
story is amazing.
That's been mentioned on 4 different occasions
Is that right?
since I've been here. Yeah, and I've only seen you twice, so
I can swim
let's
faster.
Let's go ahead. Go
Well,
ahead.
they challenged me to a swim race in where were we?
We were in Malaysia.
Impact and Dynasty, and we're up in this little lake somewhere, and
Yeah, really
we're on a
cool.
little pond on a dock, and there's Oliver and you and me and Zane. Actually, Zane was in that race too, and we had a race about 50 yards, 60 yards. And I'm 230 pounds. I'm only
Okay.
210 now.
Okay.
Or 205.
Oh, so you remember you were 230
I was heavy then.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Glad you're painting the picture.
But I remember when I touched the rope, I knew I could look back and see Ryan and Oliver chasing me.
Oh, there was that much.
Oh,
There was
yeah,
that much.
there was much space.
So in 50 yards, you had beaten us by so many lengths that you had plenty of time to touch.
That's my proudest moment.
I know.
And then
that.
Oliver's so upset. He says, "We're gonna do it again." I said, "Oliver, I'm
No
done.
way.
I'm
You
beat."
definitely do not do it
Yeah.
again.
He says,
No.
"We're gonna do it underwater." I go, "No, we're not going underwater." Yeah, we had a lot of fun times.
Yeah, that was that. So I heard it for the 4th time today.
Wow.
I think it was like one of the guys down there. Like, hey, that's the guy. Are you the guy that he beat in the race? I was like, yeah, 20 years ago, 15 years ago in a race in the middle of Malaysia. I want a rematch.
Yeah.
So you got that in a goal, and you played with the Hanson brothers.
Hanson Brothers, which was famous in the movie. Yeah, I played on Team Canada in the Spangler Cup. In 1984, we beat the Russians in the final game. I got picked up by the Russians. What else? I played with the Oilers. I played in the training camp with Gretzky. So I know a few hockey players from the day. What else? We won a Calder Cup in '82.
I was born in '82.
Yeah.
Just
So
FYI.
So here's a quick hockey story. And the guys love my hockey stories.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So we won a Calder Cup and American Hockey League championship in
Uh-huh.
1982, and I was a 3rd-line winger. And I didn't have an agent, but I played really well, and the coach got called up, Orville Tessier. So I go to training camp the next year, and I go to see the GM for Chicago, and I asked him for a raise. I didn't have an agent. I said, "Well, I'm going to go for a raise." I said, "What the hell? I'm only making $20,000 a year."
Right.
Paintball players today make more money than I did back then.
Are you adjusting for inflation?
Well, there's a little bit of inflation there. So anyways, the story goes real quick. I know we get time.
No, you did good.
Paul for the Chicago says, "Well, you're just a jackhammer, 3rd-line winger." He literally calls me a jackhammer. So I said, "Well, give me something. You got to give me something." He says, "I'll tell you what. I'll give you $1,000 for 10 goals, $1,000 for 20, and $1,000 for 30 goals." And I'd scored 8 goals the year before.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's expecting miracles out of me.
Right.
So anyways, halfway through that year, I'm leading the American League in scoring. And I had 29 goals with 1 game to go. And I scored my 30th goal in the last game last year. So I had 30 goals. So I'm pretty proud of those moments. So that, and again, I made $3,000.
And how crazy is that?
And
You scored all the records, and that's what the bonus was.
Yeah. And I was like, I remember the coach then said, "Anybody got a bonus the last game of the season?" I said, "Well, I'm the only guy who put my hand up in the room." and everybody was feeding me the puck that night, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
ended up getting 30 goals.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but and again, I got hurt that year, so I did well, but it's you know, the hockey career was good to me for what I did and playing in the minors.
That's actually funny. So there's two lessons there, right? One is incentives.
Yes.
Okay,
Very
incentivizing
much.
contingencies. Dynasty was big on contingencies back in the day, like to the point where I want to say that that Smart Parts was like, when we were recent signing with them, they go, we're not going to give you contingencies because you guys win too much.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, incentivizing your guys.
You know, I'm mixed on the incentive side of things. Personalized, maybe, you know, they're out there, they're everywhere.
Because you feel like everybody should be playing as hard as they possibly can.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
But you can attest to the fact that you scored 8 goals and you were playing as hard as you could.
He threw it out there at me, and I took it and I ran with it.
There you go. The second lesson is as the incentives or the goal that you're reaching becomes increasingly more difficult, that the bonus needs to go up. 30 goals should have been $3,000 or $5,000.
Yeah,
I learned this from negotiating in contracts.
After he called me a jackhammer, I had no negotiating skills left.
So I don't know what that means exactly. Is
Well, it's a third line hammer. It's like I can't.
Is it a good
I
thing?
got hands of steel. I can't score goals. I can't. Why should I give you a raise? Because you're just a third line winger.
Like a
so back then,
shop,
yeah, you know, first line wingers scores, top scorers. They're they're doing their natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
They got hands that can score. So, and I had hands in the juniors, but when I got to the minor leagues, it was slowed down. They put me in a different position.
When you said that, I wasn't sure if it was a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, no,
it's not a good thing or a bad thing.
It's just part of the language in hockey.
Last question: how does a one-off or what's the deal with Huntington Beach, just in general?
Ooh, I would love to go back to that, those structures. I would love to have artificial turf. I would love to go back to San Diego Stadium. I'd love to go to Fox. All those places that we did in the NPPL were very special, right? As you know, right? Those were a lot of fun and a lot of great exposure. The problem back to that again is the cost.
Right.
So cost-wise, you know, getting artificial turf, we've talked about it. Believe me, we've wrapped our heads around it, and it's just too expensive. Now, in saying that, I mean, this is where, you know, you get into the game X-ball versus 7-man, and you know, we've got 10-man on our Sundays and all that, and we run. Tom is starting to run 7-man again on Sundays. So you know, we've kind of worked around the bush on that, and there's been teams out there, pro teams that are saying, you know, well, they love 7-man. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that's going back to 7-man.
Right.
If the paintball player, you know, if you could make the game more efficient where we could carry those costs and take the fields with us, that type of artificial turf, we could go anywhere and it would be amazing. You know, it opens up the door to a lot of things.
Yeah, and if anybody's ever wondering about that, you should just ask the paintball field that you guys play at. Just ask them how difficult it is to move the turf around, because I think one field takes 2 trucks to get the turf around, and its shipping costs are not easy. So, all right, well, awesome, Bart. I really appreciate that. This is good. I think everybody is stoked to have you on. I'm happy to have you on. I'm gonna do this because I don't have a wheel to spin for prizes. I do have some dog tags and a couple of other cool prizes. Give out prizes on the show.
Thanks.
Yeah. Keep everybody interested.
Incentive.
Sometimes they just don't use
Incentivizing them.
Yeah, incentivizing.
Right.
Incentivizing them to stay in here a
Yeah.
lot. So I want everybody in here to say thank you, Bart. In the comments, we've got almost 150 people watching right now live, and this was kind of an impromptu little show that we popped up here. But everybody type that in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through there, and I'm going to pick 3 of you guys. And mahalo, Bart.
Mahalo.
There you go. Yeah. And I will get one of you guys or 3 of you, and I'll give you guys some things. So there we go.
That's awesome.
They're coming in.
I appreciate it, Ryan.
Awesome.
And the show. Thank you,
All right,
guys.
and there we go. Cheers.
Yeah, my time. He's done my time
right
for the last 2 hours.
I'm ready. We're on island time here. I'm surprised we even started on time.
I know.
And it stopped raining, so we're gonna go check out the golf course
Yeah.
and then head home and pick up the kids. Well, I only have 1 kid.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Regular time, regular place. Also back at the studio. If you guys did order any of the merch, it'll be shipping this week, unless you've already gotten it in the mail. So thanks a lot for the support, and we'll see.